children.
Olha o jogo querendo me trollar.
Come. You've arrived at just the right moment. I've been looking for you.
Oh. E aí galera, tudo bom com vocês? Bem-vindos a mais um vídeo de Genshin Impact. Hoje começando aqui de surpresa porque o jogo tava querendo me trollar. Eu tava aqui catando as florzinhas aqui, eu tentei chegar o mais perto possível sem me aproximar demais dela, mas não deu. Eu pensei que a missão só ia começar se eu falasse com ela, mas nem preciso, era só me aproximar. Então vamos lá, né? Já que começou, vamos lá. Chegar no momento certo. É a missão do bule, para deixar claro.
Oh, what is it, Granny? Need any
Granny?
Oh, no. You've done so much for Lea Harbor already. I could hardly ask for more. In fact, my old friends and I have been putting our heads together to think of what sort of gift we might give you in return.
a gift for Paimon?
Paimon se controla. Apenas fiz o que devia.
Oh, child, you are so very modest. Uncommonly so, even. But you mustn't decline this gift. I simply won't allow it.
Ô louco, ok.
I traversed my old teapot in search of the cleansing bell. I heard your little friend mention that you often camp out in the wilds.
É.
That simply won't do. Especially since I imagine you still have a very long journey ahead of you.
Com certeza.
Fortunately, I have not
Só apareceram 2 arcontes até agora, falta 5.
my subspace creation abilities.
Criação subespacial atrofiada.
Oh, did my friends never mention that to you? Well then, it is a blessing we all
Iluminação.
received from Rex Lapis. Part of our illumination, if you will.
Illumination.
I will not go into too much detail, but subspace creation is the ability to create a small, autonomous pocket world. The teapot that you entered previously was a little trinket created using that ability.
Bugiganga.
So, in the eyes of an adeptus, creating a magic teapot.
É apenas brincadeira de criança. Claro.
Indeed, the teapot is nothing to boast of. One such as myself must depart from this realm to create a world of one's own. Rex Lapis, on the other hand, moved mountains and seas. That is what one might call an exercise of true power. But that's enough nostalgia for now. The gift that I have prepared for you just requires a few
That's right. Finding stuff's what we're good at, after all.
Exactly.
Oh, settle down now, children. There's no need for you to go running hither and thither.
Oh.
I have
Uma
already
jovem?
found a fleet-footed youngster to prepare what I need.
Quem?
What's more, I doubt that you would know how to find the materials I am searching for. Some of them are very rare indeed these days. Well, for starters, I require some
Terra cintilante das
from
margens.
the banks of
Oh.
Marsh. Back in the day, it could only be found where the glazed lilies thrived most profusely. You would have to dig downward, following the roots of the glazed lilies, and if you were lucky enough, you just might find a small patch of shimmer soil there. But almost no one has been able to find shimmer soil in this manner since Dihua Marsh came to be the way it is today.
Ué,
Even
oi.
more difficult to find is Smaragdus jadeite.
A legenda ficou bugada ali.
Must be chiseled from
Apareceu a
the
legenda
chasm.
antiga.
Or so it used to be. Ever since the Blackcliff Forge opened for business, they've slowly but surely stripped the mines all but completely bare of it. In any case, Smaragdus jadeite is an adepti treasure, and the adeptal power within is not something that most humans can withstand.
Eu com certeza
Instead,
posso.
contact with it is in fact harmful to humans.
Eu não sou um humano normal.
Goodness knows if that child will succeed in finding these items.
Well, since you're an adeptus, Granny, the person you asked for help, they must be an adeptus too, right?
She's an adepti. Não é isso que é a Ganyu é, né? Se não me engano.
Does count as an adeptus.
She counts? How come there like even
Eles estão falando da yanfei, não estão?
you'd be
Quase certeza que estão falando da
significantly
yanfei, cara. Só pode ser.
Oh, maybe so. Who can say? A fair few of my old friends are rather.
A não ser que eles forem...
mundane
Não, não. Tem que ser
mortal
yanfei.
life, after all.
I'm back, Granny.
Oh!
We've
Yes!
met.
Ah, a voz em inglês dela é boa, mano.
Allow me to do the honors. This
Yanfei.
child is Yanfei. She's the one helping run some errands for me. Yanfei, I believe you've already heard of the traveler and her
Yanfei.
traveling companion.
Of course, who hasn't?
Meh.
Much has been written about you in the Millilith's records. You became one of Liua's most wanted after the Millilith marked you as a suspect following the incident at the Rite of Dissension. After which, you fought off the Millilith at Julian First
Ver a
and
yanfei me dá
contact with the
tristeza,
Julian
cara.
before finally defeating an ancient god together with Granny and her associates, and subsequently being cleared of any and all suspicion by the Chiseng. What a shame.
Pera, uma pena? Por que uma pena?
Shame that we didn't meet sooner.
Ah,
If we had, well, I can't say that I would have been able to clear you of suspicion immediately, but it certainly would have been less, embarrassing for you.
Oh,
Allow me to introduce myself once more. I'm Yen,
que livro
a
grande,
legal
hein?
advisor. Got a legal problem? You can come right to me. Oh, yes, here's my business card. You'll find it has my contact details and office address. Keep it handy. If you have an urgent issue,
Vou ser
just leave
sincero.
me a note at this address. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention, I offer a very generous discount for first-time customers.
Alguma coisa no rosto da yanfei me incomoda, cara. Eu gosto de todo o design dela, mas o rosto dela tem alguma coisa me incomodando, eu não sei o que é.
All right, Yanfei, all right.
Acho que é os olhos dela,
Let's get to
sei
the
lá.
business
Achei meio
at hand.
estranho.
I do not think these
E eu não tô achando defeito nela só porque eu não peguei ela. Eu sempre achei isso. Só deixa claro.
You'll have to excuse Yanfei. She's always been like this. Ever the talkative one when it comes to her own affairs.
Paimon was gonna ask the same question. You seem really different from the ones we've met.
É que ela é tipo o Ganyu, só
An
que, né?
adeptus? I guess, kinda. My old man said he was one anyway. He mentioned that he once campaigned with Rex Lapis for a long old time, and then after that was all over, he went back and married my mom. They had me, and once I was all grown up, the two of them upped and left on a journey,
Hã?
leaving me with Granny here.
Oi! Caraca, nossa! Abandonaram. Nossa! Abandonaram ela, maluco. Caraca.
That's a bit casual for an adeptus. Aren't you guys supposed to sign solid
Né?
contracts to protect Liyue Harbor and all that stuff? What do you mean he just went back to get married? Well, my dad did say that he'd talked it through with Rex Lapis and that he was fine with it. Even contributed towards the wedding gift, apparently. Anyway, let's not dwell on that too much. So, Granny,
Eu
I
queria
got
Yanfei,
a hold of most
cara.
of the stuff you asked for, except
O olho dela
for
me buga um
Smaragdus
pouco, mas eu queria
Jadeite.
ela.
I couldn't find any at all.
Eu curti a gameplay
The
dela
chasm's been
quando eu
sealed
testei
off,
ela.
and there's just no way in. Couldn't secure
Eu
any
não vou mais
documentation.
gastar
Looks like
nada
the
no
Ministry
banner.
of Civil Affairs is serious about keeping it
Com o
strictly
próximo
locked
5
down.
estrelas garantido o seu do banner, fera.
Oh,
Eu não vou arriscar, não.
but Smaragdus Jadeite is really rather essential. Yanfei, are you sure you can't find some other way? They have helped Liyue greatly after all. It is only right that they are duly rewarded.
I know, Granny, you've told me 1,000 times already. Well, the chasm's definitely a no-go, but there's still a chance we can figure out some alternative means of procurement. Hold on a moment. Let me
Uou!
look.
Se precisar de força bruta, pode contar comigo. Né?
What kind of things do you write in there? Commercial consultancy. Or Snezhnaya.
Snezhnaya?
Found him. Crossel. A Snezhnayan merchant who once came to me with some legal queries on certain articles in the legal codices. If my memory serves, all
A tua
of them
boca não
had
tá
to
se
do with
mexendo.
rare ores. He mentioned that he was considering acquiring some Smaragdus Jadeite to make hairpins, and wanted to know if there were any legal ramifications that he should be aware of. Said he was planning to sell
Ela
them
gosta de
to
falar, hein? Caraca.
I guess I'll go look for him. With any luck, he'll have gotten his hands on some Smaragdus Jadeite, or might have an idea of where we can find some. Oh, you want to join me?
Yes!
I suppose that's no problem.
Vai ser a única chance que eu vou ter de jogar contigo fora do teste.
You'll only risk placing yourself in legal jeopardy. Wow, an adeptus imploring us to avoid incurring legal liability. That's a first for sure. Best we be a little more careful than
É um adepto jurídico. Beleza, agora eu vou botar o áudio em japonês, que eu quero ouvir ela já falando em japonês. O inglês é bom, ficou muito bom o inglês, hein? Peraí, o quê? Gerenciar pacote? Como assim gerenciar pacote? Ah! Beleza, eu só uso esses dois mesmo. Diminuiu o que? Quase 6 GB aí agora? Tamanho de jogo, que maravilha. Pra onde que a gente vai mesmo? Pera aí, deixa eu pegar isso aqui. Me atrapalhou. Aí. Deixa eu pegar mais algumas plantinhas aqui. Aí eu vou lá pra missão. Já. Uou. Já volto. Beleza, vamos lá. Lá embaixo, é? I see you. Oh. Tipo, já notei assim de primeira. Em inglês a voz dela é uma voz mais jovem. Em japonês a voz dela é mais adulta. Interessante, cara.
さんのおかげで順調です。先日は助かりました。今日は何のご用で？
小さな手助けをしたまでだ。それよりも少し前に水角石を使ってかんざしを作ると言っていたが。
Caraca, que diferença é essa, maluco?
そのことですか。はい、確かに水角石を少し仕入れてかんざしにしました。演さんは Nossa, vou ter que admitir, a versão em inglês tá melhor. Combina mais com ela, mano. もしご覧になりたいのであれば少々待っていただく必要が。
水角石って希少なものなんだろう？そんな高い鉱石で作ったかんざしを貸し出すなんて壊れたりなくしたりしたらどうするつもりなんだ？
それは心配いりません。貸し出すときに志功さんと契約を交わしましたので、もし紛失や損傷によりこちらが害を被った場合、商品の値段を支払ってもらうことになっています。
Oh shit.
その代わり、あの水角石が偽物であった場合には、私から志功さんに商品の10倍の値段を支払うことを約束しました。
本物であることへの絶対の自信、10倍の支払いを約束するとは。なかなか肝がある。
当然です。きちんと両者が安心できるようにしなければ。それにこの契約なら私と彼女ともに利があり公平です。
では志功さんの居場所はわかるか？彼女を訪ねてかんざしを見てみたい。
ええ、知っています。契約をするときに住所を書いてもらいましたので、マップに記しておきますね。
感謝する、クロッサルさん。では私たちは志功さんを探しに行こ
う。Beleza, vou voltar pro inglês. Eu não consigo fazer essa voz combinar com ela não, mano. Que estranho. Nossa, eu preferi muito mais o inglês, maluco, pra ela. Ah. Lá em cima, já volto. Ahá! Ela, no caso. Eu não tava lendo nada.
Oh, whatever shall I do?
Por que eu... Ah, ela provavelmente perdeu as pedras. Nossa senhora.
Yes, that's me. Is there something I can help you with?
How do you do, Mr. Chow? We understand from Mr.
Combina muito com ela.
that you recently rented a pair of hairpins from
Ok, essa é a voz dela, cara. Eu não...
My associates and I are
Vou esquecer que a voz em japonês existe. Essa é a voz dela, cara. Pelo amor de Deus.
I can't lend them to
Oxi, não!
I've lost them. I don't know how it could have happened.
I always kept them right by my side. I hadn't even worn them yet. I spent so much money on them. If I have to pay their original value, there's no way I could come up with that amount of money on such short notice. My family is in the ore business too, but business has been suffering ever since the chasm was sealed off. We now have a backlog of paid-up orders just sitting around, so we've been having to purchase some stock from other ore merchants to complete them. A big banquet is coming up in a few days, and several ore merchants I know of will be there. I need this opportunity to mingle and discuss prices. So that's what the hairpins were for, to keep up appearances.
Como sempre.
I can't have them looking down on me. But now that I've lost the hairpins, what will I do?
Why does Paimon have a sudden strong sense of deja vu?
É de sempre.
Really? I sent a commission to the Adventurers Guild, but I haven't heard anything back from them yet.
Eu sou melhor do que eles.
Hold on.
Hã?
Don't run off looking for the hairpins just yet. Mr. Chow, would you let me have a look at the rental contract you signed?
Huh? Well, I mean, sure, I have it right here.
Foi que houve?
Here you are.
Let me see. That's right! Yanfei said she's a legal advisor, didn't she? Maybe she can help Juchao somehow.
É verdade. Seria meio injusto.
True. Though surely there must be a win-win solution.
I finished reading the contract. The terms are very clear, and they do indeed stipulate that you must pay Mr. Crossell the original value of the hairpins as compensation for the loss. Furthermore, the contract also expressly states that the amount of compensation must take current market prices into account. And given the rarity of Smaragdus Jadeite, I fear that the final amount of compensation may end up being significantly higher as a result.
Oh, shit.
Even higher. Oh,
Uh-oh. Juchao...
Só foi piorar a situação.
However,
Huh?
all of this is assuming that it is indeed genuine Smaragdus Jadeite that was inlaid into the hairpins.
Oh.
Do you really have to pause before saying that part? Anyway, the hairpins are lost, so how exactly would we be able to find out if the Jadeite is genuine or not? Whichever way you look at it, we've got to start by finding those hairpins.
Except that if we found the hairpins, there'd no longer be any need to check whether the Jadeite is genuine, would there?
Ah, tá meio com... Ok.
please, Don't trouble yourselves over this. The fact is, I lost the...
É, muito
I
dinheiro.
should pay compensation per the contract. However much it is, I will have to pay it. My family are merchants, after all. It's vital that we keep our word and respect our contracts. Now that it's come to this, I really shouldn't keep Crossell in the dark any longer. I'll go and inform him of the issue, and then negotiate the amount.
Será que isso é algum tipo de golpe que esse Crows tá tentando aplicar nela?
It seems this is the most sensible course of action. But before that, I have some questions about the hairpins. So hold on a moment, Mr. Chow. When you first touched the hairpins, what did you feel?
What did I feel? Well, I remember that the gemstones set into the pins were perfectly smooth to the touch, like the finest quality jade. My family has seen much jade pass through its hands in the past, so I am quite certain of my judgment in this matter.
Smooth to the touch. Finest quality jade. No, it's nothing. I just need to re-examine a few things. Let's head over to Mr. Crossell's.
Ela tá achando que pode ser algum golpe do cara, né? O cara tá tentando praticar algum golpe nela. Saquei. E aí, Mr. Crossos? Qual é a tua voz em inglês?
Ah, Miss Yanfei, you've returned. With Miss Jiqiao in tow, too, I see. How are the hairpins? I trust you're quite satisfied with them?
About that.
You lost them? Are you serious? Do you have any idea how expensive they were?
Tira esse dedo da minha cara.
I'm sorry. Truly I am. I'll pay the compensation as per our contract. Every last mora.
Mora? Do you have any idea what I had to go through to get my hands on that Smaragdus Jadeite? I just don't... Forget it. Talking won't bring them back. Since Miss Yanfei is here, I suppose we can just have her estimate the amount that needs to be paid.
No problem. But before I can give an official estimate, I'll need to do a little market research. Ah, yes, and if I may just confirm again, it was in fact genuine smaragdus jadeite inlaid into the hairpins, correct?
Of course. An article guaranteed, or I pay back 10 times the value.
Oh shit.
All right, understood. I'll conduct some market research, and once I'm back, I'll provide an official assessment of the sum owed by Mr. Chow in compensation. Please wait here, Mr. Crossell.
Thank you very much. How could she lose my hairpins? She'd better pay every last mora that they're worth.
Tira esse dedo, meu amigo, eu já falei.
Some way to raise that money.
Please wait, Mr. Chow. I have something to discuss with you. It's not convenient to speak here, so let's find somewhere that we can sit and talk in more detail.
Essa é a missão do bully? Certo? Sério mesmo? Tá parecendo uma simples missão de apresentar a personagem yanfei.
Miss Yanfei, what is this about? Are you here to tell me how much I owe?
No. What I wanted to talk about is, there is a chance that the ore inlaid on those hairpins may not be smaragdus jadeite after all.
What do you mean? Are you implying that you already sneaked off and found them?
Nope.
Obviously not. I'm no adventurer, let alone a member of the guild. I don't run thankless, time-consuming errands for a living. Let's just say I made some deductions.
Ela é
I
inteligente.
told you this, but smaragdus jadeite is found deep underground and contains very concentrated elemental energy. If mere mortals come into contact with it, well, they'll be sick in the best case. And in the worst case, they could even experience a dramatic change of personality. It most certainly would not be smooth to the touch. Mr. Chow, did you at any time feel unwell while the hairpins were in your possession?
No, not at all. I felt perfectly fine the whole time. Not even the slightest bit unwell. I didn't feel anything special at all, in fact.
Now that is strange. I noticed earlier that there were elemental traces in Mr. Crossell's vicinity. If I've deduced correctly, he may still have the smaragdus jadeite in his possession.
If that's the case, we should go confront him right now and expose his dirty skin to
Não.
his face.
A gente precisa de provas.
Absolutely not.
Eu sou muito bom.
Now, there's no way he would admit
Exato.
Eventually, he would find some argument to compel us to leave.
Exato.
And then, he'd throw the smaragdus jadeite into the sea the moment we were gone.
Acabando com as
After
provas.
that, he would simply insist that Mr. Chow pay up per the contract. He would lose nothing. Meanwhile, we would have to look under every stone in Liyue, hoping and praying that the hairpins do actually still exist somewhere in this world.
Ela é boa. Ela é boa.
So vivid that Paimon thinks it might be experience talking.
Oh, it certainly is. I've seen my fair share of situations like this, and brute force methods are certainly one way of resolving them. Fortunately, I have far more elegant solutions at my disposal.
Esse não é o estilo da Paimon. Ela prefere descer o cacete em todo mundo.
Then, since you're so experienced in dealing with problems like this, perhaps you could help me.
That's why I'm
That
here.
won't be a problem. But first, Mr. Chow,
Oh shit.
I ask you to please sign this contract.
Another contract.
Huh? Does there have to be a contract for everything?
É claro.
I can't even keep track. It feels like Yanfei is even more concerned with them than a certain someone else we know.
These are my formal terms of engagement.
Contratos são importantes.
Everything prior to now has just been pro bono advice.
Sem um contrato, você tem que depender de confiar na outra pessoa. Confiar. Não, se confiar. A gente tem lei pra isso, pra não precisar confiar em ninguém.
Then I will be glad to place this matter into your capable hands if you will take it, Miss Yanfei.
No problem. Just sign here, and I'll sign too. Okay. Now write your address here.
Nossa
and then
senhora.
sign on this page as well.
Aí já é coisa demais.
I'll also need your signatures on pages 5, 7, and on the very last page.
Eu sei como é isso, eu já assinei alguns papéis também. É um saco.
Contract has so many pages.
All right, that should do it. My fees are the same as always, and they're written in the contract. Have a look through and let me know if you have any questions.
I've had a read through. Everything checks out.
Well then, here's your copy.
Nossa senhora, esse é um livro,
I
maluco.
will retain the other copy. Not for now, no. Despite how intractable this problem might sound, it will actually be quite straightforward to resolve, once we've got some things squared away. I don't believe you have been part of an investigation like this before, in which case, hopefully this should be quite the experience.
Ok.
Miss Yanfei, I have to ask, why are you helping me?
Because, as it happens,
Porque é uma
I'm currently trying
injustiça.
to acquire some Smaragdus Jadeite myself. I noticed strong traces of geoenergy around Mr. Crossel, so perhaps he has, in fact, secured some. Whether he actually made it into an item of jewelry or not is a separate matter, but either way, it's a lead. As long as we follow it, who knows? We might just be able to get our hands on some Smaragdus Jadeite. Also, the idea of someone abusing the law to their
Exato.
advantage, I won't stand for it.
Exato.
But again, let's not dwell on this.
Contratos justos são o mais importante.
Where can we find someone who processes ore? Ah, I've got it.
Chito.
Let's pay a visit to Chateau, the boss of the Jade Mystery. He's a professional when it comes to working with stone and ore.
Ok.
If Mr. Crossel had his ore worked on at all, Chateau would undoubtedly have been his first choice.
Ok. Eu lembro desse carinha. E aí?
Why, hello there, honored customers. Welcome to... Oh, it's you, Miss Yanfei. Is something the matter?
Que medo, hein?
Surely not more spurious claims that my jade betting is rigged and no one can ever win? Oh, I swear on all that is sacred.
No, nothing of the sort. Has a Snezhnine merchant named Crossel enlisted your ore processing services recently by any chance?
A Snezhnayan merchant named...
Snezhnaya.
you say?
Snezhnaya.
I do remember that. He brought me a piece of ore, claiming that it was Smaragdus Jadeite. That was the first time I'd ever encountered it, so I had no way of telling if it was really Smaragdus Jadeite or not. But if a customer insists, far be it from me to contradict them. He was quite generous with his money, too, so I didn't give it too much thought. I processed the ore as per his request.
Do you have any leftover debris from your work on it?
Why, yes. It was my first time encountering this ore, after all, so I kept a few loose shavings to study myself later. They're right over there, in fact.
O jeito que ele fala é
Thank you,
estranho.
sir. We'll take a look at them.
Tá na minha hora. Eu sou especialista em pedras de acordo com Zhongli. Quer dizer, não especialista, né? Mas eu tô aprendendo com ele. Mas ela também deve ser boa, hein? Já que ela entende um pouco de minérios também.
If my eyes don't deceive me, the cross-sections and patterning suggest that these are Smaragdus nephrite shavings. Yes, it's not particularly rare, nor is it especially valuable. It's used to make jewelry all the time. I've heard it said that Smaragdus nephrite is in fact the outer layer of Smaragdus Jadeite, though no one's ever proven it.
A thin layer of separation, huh?
If you must see for yourself, try examining these shavings for traces of elemental energy. Smaragdus nephrite is an entirely ordinary ore, containing no elemental energy whatsoever.
Yeah.
Is that so? Well, we
Visão elementar.
So, did you find anything?
Nope.
So they really are different. But wait, how come Jichao was able to tell what it was just by looking at the shards?
Porque ela é boa.
Pretty awesome.
Em vários
There's
sentidos.
nothing special to it. It just so happens that I've come across a great many of these in my time. These two stones actually look very similar. Someone without a deep understanding of them would find it very difficult to tell them apart. There may be only a subtle difference for the casual viewer, but that translates to an astronomical difference in terms of the market price. And, I'm sure, a significant difference in the cost of having them carved into shape.
All right, let's focus up. We're going off on a tangent.
But, never mind, Shirto. Why would Mr. Crossel...
Unusual actions have unusual reasons behind them. Let's take some of these shavings back to Chateau.
Tchau. E aí? Eu tô do lado dele, pra que isso, mano?
Miss Yanfei? Might I be so bold as to inquire?
Vai perguntar o quê?
If you could just confirm for me once more, sir. Mr. Crossell did indeed claim that the ore he brought to your store was in fact Smaragdus Jadeite, did he not?
Yes, that's right. I still have a record of the job with me, in fact. Here. It
Recibo.
says quite clearly, 1 chunk Smaragdus Jadeite, uncut.
Uncut.
Then I have no further questions. But could I borrow the processing record and these stone shavings?
Of course. But might I ask why you need them?
Oh, I have my reasons. Ah, yes. Please sign
Meu
the
Deus.
This document shall serve as signed proof that these stone shavings originated from the, ore that Mr. Crossell brought to your store. Please read it carefully.
Yes, I see. Forgive me for asking again, Miss Yanfei.
Quem está criando problemas?
Might I know the nature of the incident on this occasion?
I wouldn't say there's been an incident, just a minor issue. Thank you, sir. I'll take these with me.
With this hard evidence to back us up, Crossell will
Oi, Paimon.
deny what he did.
Ela fez tudo que fez aí pra não...
Contrary,
Hã?
this is
Pra não
far from
contar.
sufficient to build a case.
Exato.
We need to find something a little more compelling.
Exato.
If you want to make jewelry, you need a professional jewelsmith. Let me think. Jewelry.
Eu queria Yanfei, cara.
Aha! Got it.
Por que 4 estrelas?
She often asks people to find a jewelsmith. Let's go pay her a visit.
Well, that was quick. How come you know so many people?
Because lots of people come to me for legal advice every day. As you know, Liyue Harbor is the city of contracts. And contracts, well, I should say laws, are very important to us. But the amendments made by the Tianquan to our laws are unnecessarily complicated.
Visão
How
bonita.
can I put this?
Cenário
It
bonito,
just
aliás.
seems like they're hard to understand and impossible to finish. As such, legal advisors like myself provide quite the popular service indeed.
So you help them make sense of the law. But didn't you say that it's hard to understand and impossible to finish?
Yes, well, that's no obstacle because I've memorized all
Hello.
legal codices.
You
Isso é
memorized
livro grande, hein?
You sound surprised. Knowing the law inside out is a legal advisor's bread and butter, you know? Oh, this has nothing to do with being an adeptus. I just like reading things.
again with that casual tone.
Well, that's that then. Let's go look for Singsi.
Singsi. Ok. Doko. Ok, vou andando. Já volto. Aí, cheguei. E eu finalmente upei minha Rutal pro 81, cara. Finalmente. Eu tava fazendo muito tempo pensando. Já tô com tudo pronto pra upar ela. Só que eu tava sempre pensando se eu devia ou não.
Yanfei, it's you. Has something happened? Did the client from last time
Calma.
No further trouble from then on? Yes, of course. I'm just here to ask you a few questions. Has a merchant by the name of Crossell asked you to put him in contact with a
Caramba.
jewelsmith recently?
Crossell?
O povo confia tanto nela quanto na Ganyu, mano. Só que por motivos diferentes. Ela é em referência à lei. A Ganyu é em referente a trabalho. Trabalho. Como é que eu digo? Serviços. Que é o que a Ganyu oferece.
This order was on hold for a very long time and only completed quite recently, which is why I remember it so well.
Doesn't seem like there's any evidence to be found here.
Miss Singsi, I'd like for you to confirm for me once more. When Mr. Crossell commissioned you to find him a jewelsmith, did he or did he not assert that the material he presented to you that day was called Smaragdus Jadeite?
Yes, I'm sure of it. The hairpins were made using many expensive materials, and the asking price was quite high, so we had to put this transaction on record with the Ministry of Civil Affairs. Mr. Crossell wasn't very familiar with the necessary procedures, so I filed it on his behalf. I also kept a copy for my own records. See for yourself,
Boa.
the item is called Smaragdus Jadeite Twin Phoenix Pins. The inlaid gemstone is recorded as Smaragdus Jadeite. The document even has the official seal of the ministry on it.
Thank you, Sinxie. Now, could you let me borrow this document?
Sure, it isn't serving much purpose here anyway. I take it then that there's been some more trouble?
Nothing you need to worry about, just a minor issue. I'll return your document as soon as I'm done with it. Thanks again.
Why is everyone's first reaction always to assume someone or something is in trouble?
Porque normalmente é.
I believe we have almost all the evidence we need. We just need to make one last trip. Let's go to Boo Boo Pharmacy to speak with Dr. Baiju.
Oh.
The weirdo with the snake around his
Oi.
neck? What do you want to speak to him for?
Because only he can provide an authoritative statement confirming that Smaragdus Jadeite is harmful to the human body.
Oh.
Once we have this final piece of evidence in our hands, we can wrap this case up.
Ok. Let's go. Nossa, a torre é longe, só caramba, né? É. Vamos lá, vamos andando. Já volto. Yay! Chegamos. Kiki tá aqui? Kiki não tá aqui. Gostei não. Cadê a Kiki? Oi. Cadê a Kiki? Eu nem olhei pra tu. Hã? O que é que tem pra vender? Tô precisando não, valeu. Baizu, fala comigo.
My, to what do I owe the
My.
Though I'm afraid that if you're looking for our little Chi-Chi, she's
Chi-Chi?
out gathering herbs.
Oh.
And if it isn't Miss Yanfei as well, now that's an even rarer honor. What business brings you here, might I inquire? Some charlatan peddling ineffectual medicines again, no doubt?
No. I'm here this time to ask if you're familiar with Smaragdus Jadeite.
Smaragdus Jadeite? Why, yes, there is some information about it included in the 6th commentary on the 7 Mountain Treatises. The 7 Mountain Treatises states that this substance springs forth from stone marrow within the mountains, and will bring disaster to any mere mortals who touch it. It is abundant in elemental energy, so if someone without a vision is in contact with it for a prolonged period, best case scenario, they fall ill. Worst case scenario, they'll suffer great changes in personality.
Ô, louco.
Their illness will only ever get worse.
Parece o simbiote
Anyway,
do
I'm
Homem-Aranha.
sure you didn't come all this way just to chit-chat. Knowing you, Yanfei, and given the specific nature of your question, I suppose that you're about to ask me to write an official affidavit attesting to the pharmaceutical
Uau, ele é bom.
properties of Smaragdus Jadeite.
That is indeed the case. If you would be so kind, Dr. Baiju.
No trouble at all. It's just a single document, won't take me a moment. I would mention, though, that you are not the only one who's developed a curiosity for Smaragdus Jadeite recently.
Quem mais perguntou?
A Snezhnayan
Ah.
asked me about it not long ago. But after I gave him my reply, his expression shifted to one of remarkable disappointment. I wonder, Miss Yanfei, if your pressing business might be related to the Snezhnayan merchant?
Ah, you needn't concern yourself about that, Dr. Baiju.
Ela é boa.
Thank you for penning us that document. I'll
Ela é
make sure
boa.
to compensate you in due course.
Ela conseguiu tudo o que ela precisava sem dar nenhuma informação a ninguém. Ela é boa. Ela é muito boa.
That Baiju guy is as weird as ever.
Qual é, Paimon?
Paimon, or does it feel like he was fishing for something back there?
Todo mundo
Baiju's
tava.
always been like that. Well, we have the evidence we need. Let's go find Mr. Crossell.
Yanfei é boa, cara. Ela é boa. Isso me lembra quando eu joguei o modo história da Ganyu, cara. Como a Ganyu mostrou superioridade nos trabalhos que ela fazia. Caramba, mano. Porque 4 eu preferia que Yanfei virasse 5 estrelas no lugar do Zhongli, cara. Pegar 4 estrelas é um inferno, mano. Pegar 4 estrelas. Tu tá lascado, cara. Se desse mal, hein?
Miss Yanfei, have you finished your investigation? I trust you will now be in a position to assess the compensation due.
Yes.
Pobre
My
coitado.
investigation is indeed concluded. I can now provide a final figure for the amount payable.
Wonderful. Well then, please, could you do the honors, Miss Yanfei?
Of course. According to the stipulations of the contract, Mr. Crossell, you must pay Mr. Chow 10 times the original transaction price in Mora.
Wait, what? Me pay her? Surely there's been some kind of mistake, Miss Yanfei.
Not at all. According to my investigations and the material evidence that we've gathered, the substance claimed to be Smaragdus Jadeite that was inlaid within the Smaragdus Jadeite twin phoenix pins that you rented out to Mr. Chow was, in fact, Smaragdus Nephrite. Now, the contract states very clearly that 10 times the price shall be paid should the article not be genuine. Accordingly, you are liable for this sum, which is payable to Mr. Chow.
Material evidence? What material evidence? Why, Miss Yanfei, you cannot frame me like this. I spent a huge sum to obtain that Smaragdus Jadeite, and yet you claim that the ore inlaid on the hairpins is somehow fake? I demand to see your evidence.
Ok.
Indeed. Only a testimony from an expert witness involved in the processing of the ore can serve as an authoritative assessment of whether it is genuine. Traveler, please produce the evidence in question.
Esse aqui é o último. Esse aqui.
This is a processing record from the Jade Mystery, along with stone samples and an affidavit signed by the business owner, Chateau.
Seriously? Even the boss there couldn't differentiate between Smaragdus Jadeite and Smaragdus Nephrite. How does this prove anything? In any case, Smaragdus Nephrite is the outer layer of Smaragdus Jadeite. So I had him cut away the Nephrite, he returned the valuable Jadeite core to me, and some Nephrite samples remained.
Não foi isso que você fez no acordo.
That's an unsubstantiated belief.
Well, your claim that my ore is fake is just as unsubstantiated. And we are here to talk about evidence, aren't we?
Ugh. Looks like our first piece of evidence didn't convince him at all. Seems like he came prepared. What should we do next?
Calma, é por isso que a gente juntou mais provas.
Something legally binding. We have just the thing. Show him, traveler.
This document proves that my hairpins are the real deal, doesn't it? This is the Ministry's seal, after all. It shows that the ore inlaid on the pins is indeed Smaragdus Jadeite.
Our second piece of evidence didn't work either. And this guy's getting more belligerent by the second.
Calma.
You know, you could be right. Perhaps the hairpins are the real deal after all.
Of course I'm right. All the evidence shown supports my story.
Well, hang on a moment now, because I do recall one final piece of evidence that we haven't revealed yet. Traveler, do the honors.
What's this?
Close do caramba.
From stone marrow within the mountains and will bring disaster to any mere mortals who touch it. Sustained contact with Smaragdus Jadeite over a prolonged period will, in less serious cases, cause a mild malady, while in serious cases, the patient may suffer a dramatic change of personality and fall seriously ill. Mr. Crossell, were you aware of these peculiar properties of Smaragdus Jadeite?
I had no idea.
No idea, you say? I'd guessed as much. But for you to have rented out such a dangerous item, I'm afraid that this falls outside the scope of my work, but within that of the Ministry of Civil Affairs. However, I'm sure that the Ministry will be relatively lenient, considering that, as you say, you were ignorant of the danger you posed. Don't worry, Mr. Crossell. I will make sure that all the evidence will be handed over to the Ministry.
E aí, fera, o que é que tu vai fazer?
Your full cooperation in their investigations.
What? Wait! I knew.
Oh, so you knew? Oh, dear Mr. Crossell. But if you knew of Smaragdus Jadeite's dangerous properties beforehand, why would
Tu
you...
cavou a própria cova ainda mais, parça.
The hairpins aren't
actually inlaid with genuine Smaragdus Jadeite? Is that what you were about to say? You do understand, Mr. Crossell, that this means that you will have to pay Mr. Chow 10 times the original price in Mora?
Ela é boa.
Mr. Crossell, your answer, please. My client and I are waiting.
He's seriously intimidating.
Né?
It's like she's a different person.
Esse tipo de pessoa que eu gosto.
I admit it. I confess. The ore I had inlaid on those hairpins was Smaragdus Nephrite. But I'm a victim in all of this too. I invested a great deal of time and money into acquiring that small amount of Smaragdus Jadeite, in the hopes of turning it into a piece of jewelry that would fetch a fine price. But after receiving it and carrying it around for a few days, I started to feel extreme discomfort. I couldn't sleep a wink or eat a single bite. I was in a constant state of agitation too.
Os sintomas.
I went to Boo Boo Pharmacy to get myself checked out, only to discover that this sort of stone cannot be worn as jewelry. But how could I let all that money go to waste? That's why I had another pair of hairpins made from Smaragdus Nephrite, which is almost indistinguishable from Smaragdus Jadeite. I kept the real Smaragdus Jadeite in a specially made box. I daren't touch it again. I was worried that someone would see through it, which is why I only dared to rent them out, not sell them. And then to top it all off, Jiqiao lost the hairpins after I rented them out to her.
10 vezes.
Exactly. If they weren't the real deal, why'd you make her pay so much?
I didn't want to either, but when I purchased that Smaragdus Jadeite, some of my business partners found out. I knew they'd be watching closely to see how much I could make off it. If word got out that I sold a pair of fake hairpins, then my days in this line of business would be over.
All right, let's cut the appeals phase right there. I failed to see what bearing any of this has on your transaction.
Ela só quer saber do acordo, fera.
According to the contract, you must pay Mr. Chow 10 times the original price in Mora.
10 vezes, caramba, mano.
10 times?
Croso looks like he could faint any second.
As for me, according to my contract with Mr. Chow, 20% of that sum
20%?
20%? That's as much as I spent on that Smaragdus Jadeite.
There's no need. It's fine. You don't have to pay me that much, Mora.
Que?
Even if the Smaragdus Jadeite on those hairpins was fake, I still bear responsibility for losing them. Legally or not, I think I owe some compensation for that.
Ms. Jiqiao, you...
However, Mr. Crossell, since you have no use for that chunk of Smaragdus Jadeite, why don't you give it to me instead? I'll consider us even.
Oh!
But all right then. This cursed rock's brought me enough grief as it is.
Miss Yanfei, I'll turn this Smaragdus Jadeite over to you.
Oh!
I trust that it will suffice as remuneration?
Oh!
That's not quite how the rules say this should go, but whatever. It'll do.
Thanks so much for your help this time, Miss Yanfei. When you have the time, I'll be sure to visit and express my thanks more appropriately.
Oh, come on. No need to stand on ceremony. Now, if I may confirm this again, Mr. Chow, have you and Mr. Crossell come to an understanding?
Well, yes, I believe we have.
Well then, that's good. Mr. Crossell, it seems that my client has no further claims against you.
Is that so? That's good. Good.
Actually, Mr. Crossell, I'd
Cooperação?
like to
Oh!
for a second, if I may. I could see from the hairpins you produce that you're very skilled in jewelry design. My family, on the other hand, works in the ore business, and we have a fair stock of fine ores. Join
Oh!
forces, your jewelry designs and our choice ores. I think we could do some fine business between us.
Olha só!
Let me think for a moment.
Aceita, caramba! Ah!
Well, that's that. And we've got the Smaragdus Jadeite that Granny wants too. All's well that ends well, eh?
Exactly. Usually when someone tells us they've lost something, we end up searching all over the place for it. But this time, you managed to solve the problem with just a big stack of documents. Even though the solution didn't involve actually finding the hairpins.
The right solution depends on your perspective on the problem. The objective of my client, Mr. Chow, was to reduce her liability to pay compensation. So, rather than looking high and low for some hairpins, proving that the rented item was nowhere near worth what the vendor had claimed it to be was the more
Caraca.
efficient solution. An Adeptus. Speaking of, you took part in that battle, didn't
Sim.
you? In which case, You would have heard what Granny said. Liyue Harbor is now a city ruled by humans. The title of Adeptus means precious little to me compared to my job as a legal advisor.
É verdade.
In any case, don't you think that the Liyue Harbor of today needs legal consultancy far more than it needs adeptal powers?
Paimon can think of someone who would definitely disagree with your reasoning.
Well, since we got what we came for, it's time to pay Granny a visit. I bet she's been on tenterhooks for a while now.
Ok. E eu já tô com quase 1 hora de vídeo. Onde exatamente ela tá? Lá. Ok. Já volto. Isso é o que eu gosto do Xiao. Cheguei. Essa é a melhor parte de jogar com o Xiao, mano.
Ah, you've returned. How did it go? Were you able to find the Smaragdus Jadeite? Good, good. Then we have all the materials we need.
Well, if we're all set, Granny, I'll get going now. Got a ton of clients waiting for me back.
Wait!
Oh, you
Don't leave me.
Right then, go see to your business. Granny should be able to handle the rest.
Oh.
I'm off then. Bye. Oh yes, Traveler. Make sure you don't lose the business card I gave you. I've been looking into the laws of other nations as well. If you should ever bump into any trouble with the law, come find me directly.
Oh, okay.
Regulars get discounts too.
Come now,
Thank
child.
you.
Are you leaving or are you not? If you have no wish to leave, perhaps you'd like to help me clean my teapot.
Oh shit. Corre.
I'm leaving. I'm leaving.
That child. Goodness knows where she learned to be so rambunctious. Her father was hardly so riotous or fond of talking nonsense back in the day when he stood beside Rex Lapis. Ah, indeed she is. Liyue has changed, and the Adepti must also learn to change.
Yeah.
Yanfei might be overly garrulous, but she is also the most intimately acquainted with the city among us all. Ah, Liyue is not the same place I once knew. All right then, let us speak of this no more. Back on topic. I believe that I still owe you
Pera,
a
mas-
gift.
E a pedra?
I'm so excited!
Ah não, pera, a gente pegou a pedra, eu tinha esquecido. Precisa de quanto tempo?
It is but a single teapot. It shan't take long at all. Just wait here for a moment.
Ok. Presente.
There we go. This serenity pot is
Relaxar.
all yours now.
Bule de relaxar.
Only you won't
Relaxar.
drop it. Oh, goodness. Who knows what might happen?
Oh.
Take these blueprints with you as well. You'll need them if you wish to make your teapot a little more lively inside.
Obrigado, vovó.
Wait a minute, Granny. How exactly are we supposed to use this teapot?
Boa pergunta.
Oh, you needn't worry about
Ah,
that.
sim, sim, sim.
I've already arranged for a certain little helper to await you within this teapot.
Ok. Só? Aí. Hells yeah. Só dá pra usar ele uma vez ou... Ah, as outras paradinhas que eu peguei. Entrar no bule. Beleza. Só um segundo, deixa eu botar esse bule aí num canto bom. Vou botar no canto que eu sempre fico. Ah, tá chovendo, que tristeza. Vamos lá. Vou botar o bule aqui. Colocar. Posso colocar aqui não? E aqui? Eu posso colocar... Ah, ok, ok. Eu posso colocar ele quantas vezes eu quiser. Beleza. Entrar no bule. Vamos lá. Ok. Eu escolho um. Pico esmeralda, ilha fria e moradia flutuante. Isso aqui. Oh. O outro. Um pico montanhoso que perfura as nuvens. E outro que é uma praia. Eu sinceramente, desde que eu vi, eu sabia que eu ia escolher esse aqui. A moradia flutuante. Sim. Uou! Uou! Eita! A fala da Rutal. Oh!
This teapot seems even bigger inside than Madame Ping's. There's even a great big house in the middle too.
Oh, essa casa é bonita.
But there's just a whole load of nothing around it.
Vai quebrar umas pedras. Cara, tu... E agora eu quero escolher os dois, mano. Ah. Ah. Esse.
Hey, there's a perfect house right over there. Why should Paimon have to live in a hole in the ground?
Nice. Nice.
Still, why is it so empty here apart from that house?
Que eu tenho que construir todo o
Wait a
resto.
second, what is that?
Um bule. Olha isso, cara. Olha. Nossa, que coisa linda, meu amigo. Uau. Realmente eu queria esse aqui, cara. Não tem condição não. Olha isso, coisa linda. Nossa senhora. Vamos lá falar com o bichinho. Peraí, tem uma mão aqui. O que é isso? Depois eu vejo isso. E aí? Seja lá o que tu for.
Well, it seems that we have a visitor.
Oh!
It's a huge finch!
Excuse me, I am not a finch. I am a teapot spirit, and you may call me...
Eu posso tirar um nome?
Hang on a moment. What am I supposed to be called again?
Can I give you a name?
Oh, call me.
Oh.
I suppose you may call me...
Tubby. Tubby. Bem good.
So you're the little helper Madame Ping mentioned?
Madam Ping? Oh, you must mean Ping. Yes, she did summon me here. She told me much about you. You may leave all matters regarding the upkeep of this realm to me.
Okay.
Your journey may be far from over, but at least this way you will not want for a comfortable place to sleep each night. Though it is the Adepti who create realms such as this, they generally do not have the time of day to
faz
attend
sentido.
to the banal matter of their maintenance. Thus, we teapot spirits were created to help guard their realms and manage their affairs. You may consider me a butler if you will.
Não, eu prefiro empregada. Give me a maid.
Have you any blueprints on you? Specifically, blueprints with beautiful rooms, chairs, and the like.
I have some.
As long as you have a blueprint, you can refashion this realm however you please.
Oh, okay.
Blueprints? Oh, that's right! Granny handed us some when she gave us the teapot, didn't she? Let's take them out and have a look.
Yeah. They were pretty nice.
Yes, these are the blueprints I'm talking about.
Go on. Open.
them up. Just commit the
Open
image
them
of the
up.
objects to memory and prepare the necessary materials.
Okay.
Then simply release the thought from your mind and the object in the blueprint shall appear within this teapot.
Okay.
Wow! Is that all it takes? Then we could build a whole city inside, couldn't we?
I doubt it. A golden-eyed adeptus explained this to me at some point in the past. He said that even though subspace creation is a product of adeptal power, even that has its limits. This world is not a true one, after all. It provides merely a moment of brief respite from the mortal realm,
not a means of escaping it entirely. A golden-eyed adeptus?
Zhongli.
Paimon wonders who could that be? I hardly remember myself. What's more, I have never seen that adeptus again since.
Ah, não, não, Arconte não, é um Adeptus. De olhos dourados.
Well, let's not dwell on that.
Agora eu também tô
Have a
curioso,
look
quem é?
around. Best you get accustomed to this realm. If there's anything you would like to ask, just look for me.
Ok. Beleza. Deixa eu voltar o áudio pro japonês. Ok. O que é que isso aqui faz? Ok. Oh. Oh. Eu posso subir isso aqui? Então essa aqui é a minha área, né? Ok. Isso aqui. Prédio principal. Que é isso aqui? Pátio. Não tem nada. O que exatamente é isto? Não sei bem o que é isso não, vou botar aqui. Paisagem, animal. Capacidade 2.200. Que é isso? Depois eu vou olhar o que é tudo isso. Pronto. Colocando as decoração, aguarde. Posso sair? Ah, tá. Tá colocando decoração. Ah, não, já tá ali, ali. O que era esse negócio? Forjar? Oh, eu tenho minha própria forja. Nice. Ok, depois eu vou arranjar um canto melhor pra botar isso. Ah, que da hora. Eu posso entrar na casa? Eu posso, vamos ver como é que é por dentro. Oh! Nossa senhora! Aqui é outro quarto, né? Segundo andar, vamos ver, quer dizer, primeiro andar, vamos ver como é que é aqui em cima. Se aqui em cima tiver um quarto, então aqui é que vai ser meu quarto. Abre, Sésamo. Ah. Nossa, tá... Nossa. Meu jogo tá bugando. Ah, então só posso configurar os quartos lá de baixo, né? Tá, ok. O que é isso aqui? Ah! Ganhei mais algumas coisitas. Isso aqui eu destravo com o tempo, né? Provavelmente. Aqui. Ah, isso aqui é tipo aquele... Tipo... Cadê o livro? Ué, cadê o livro? Isso aqui é tipo aquele livro. Ah. Se eu clicar aqui, eu entro no modo... Ah. Ali é a porta, não? É, ali é a porta. Eu quero botar alguma coisa pra esse lado aqui. Ah, provavelmente são coisas que eu ainda tenho que construir, né? Ok, ok. Salvar. Pronto. É meu local de treinamento. Eu subo em cima disso aqui e faço isso assim, ó. E travo o jogo. Aí eu botei isso aqui. E aqui é meu quarto. Posso deitar na cama? Nossa, minha imersão foi destruída. Minha imersão foi quebrada agora. Eu não posso nem deitar na cama. Que horrível, que horrível. Vamos cair fora. Falar com o bule. Pra ver o que eu posso fazer com o bule. E aí, bule? O que tu tem pra mim?
まだ慣れないかと思いますが、外形の力で屋敷と家具を揃えていけば心も落ち着くでしょう。
Nível de confiança. Oh. Oh, ok. Nice. Que é isso? Tá. Calma, ainda não, pera. Mudar a forma do paraíso mágico? Como assim? Desbloqueia depois. Ah, ok. Fazer móveis, tesouro mágico. Ah, eu posso comprar coisas dele, né? Eu tenho 108 moedas. Dá pra comprar. Nossa senhora. Uau. Frasco de... Hã? Ah, ok. Nossa, vai demorar um século pra comprar tudo isso, hein? Fazer móveis. Nenhum diagrama. Ih, vou ter que farmar mais desse, hein? Ok, ok. Por enquanto é só. Não tenho nada liberado. Eu posso seguir naquele caminho? Deixa eu dar uma olhada. Esse caminho que tinha mostrado aqui atrás, eu posso subir isso aqui? Se eu puder passar por essa ponte, eu volto com o vídeo quando eu estiver lá no topo. Vamos ver. Pera, tem um... Ah, meu Deus do céu! Ah, mano, não tem um limite de até onde eu posso ir. Nossa, que vacilo. Tá bom. Que isso? Que isso? Oh! Ah, que da hora! Ok, é isso aqui. Obrigado, Tubby. Não. Como é que eu faço pra colocar um animal aqui? Olha só quem tem... Nossa, nossa senhora. E aí, dog? É fofo. Ele tá vindo até mim, cara. Tu consegue subir aqui? Ah! Olha isso, cara. Muito bem, galera. Sabe o que eu vou fazer agora? Eu quero saber o quanto esse jogo me odeia. Só uma última vez. Só pra ter certeza do quanto esse jogo me odeia. Então... Vamos ver, jogo, o quanto tudo me odeia. Só pra ter certeza. Me mostra. Caraca, vai vir no último. Ok. Bom, tá certo, jogo. Tu não me odeia tanto quanto eu pensava, mas eu ainda tive que gastar 40 tiros pra pegar um yanfei. 40! Eu não queria não, mas tudo bem. E foi mais novo. Esse jogo gosta de complicar minha vida. Pense. Bem-vinda à casa. Agora eu ainda tenho todos os 4 estrelas do jogo. Eu queria a constelação 1 dela, mas tudo bem. Não é tão importante não, mas seria boa. Isso aqui também seria da hora. Bom, pelo menos agora eu tenho um yanfei. Mas eu ainda digo que esse jogo me odeia. Minha opinião não mudou. Bom, poderia ter sido 1000 vezes pior? Poderia. Poderia ter vindo uma Noelle, ou uma Diona, ou Zhongli. Poderia, né? Cadê? Eu vou botar ela aqui só pra dar uma olhada nela. Pera aí, se eu estiver certo... Como é que eu saio pra... Como é que eu saio do bule? Aqui? Ok. Foi mal, mas eu não consigo gostar da voz dele em japonês, cara. Não consigo mesmo. Finalmente eu tenho uma maga de fogo, maluco. Yes! Vocês não sabem há quanto tempo eu tava querendo uma maga de fogo, cara. Vocês não fazem ideia. O que é que eu posso dar de bom pra ela aqui? Beleza. Isso é o que ela tem por enquanto. E aí, slimes? Nossa senhora. Nice. Beleza, ela não dá muito dano porque né, ela não tá nem upada. Esse vídeo vai ficar incrivelmente longo, já deixo claro isso. Muito bem. Essa é a minha yanfei atual. Vou mostrar como é que ela tá aqui, nível 51, que é o melhor que eu posso fazer por enquanto. Tá aqui, com esse livro, ok, artefatos. Tá aqui, top de linha. Isso aqui, constelação nenhuma. 50% de taxa crítica, 150 de dano crítico, 121 de recarga e 57 de dano pyro. Top, né não? Top. Só falta upar o nível dela. Isso aí eu vou fazer aos poucos. Minha fé está de matar. Yes.
Rain? Oh, Lord of Geo, please do us a favor and clear this up at your earliest convenience. I submit that we cannot afford for the codices to get damp.
Oh, que da hora! Ela tem uma fala pra chuva, mano. Que da hora. Bom. Mas é isso aí, galera. Terminamos aqui. Finalmente eu consegui yanfei. Na minha última tentativa, cara. Literalmente, na minha última. Eu não ia tentar mais, não. Sendo sincero, eu não ia tentar mais, não. Mas é isso aí. Conseguimos aqui. Yanfei. Yes. Yanfei. Se curtiram o vídeo, deixa um like. Eu tô bem cansado já. Esse vídeo aqui já tá quase 2 horas, mano. Mas eu vou tentar diminuir o máximo que eu puder. Se curtiram, deixa um like. Não se esqueça de se inscrever para não perder os próximos vídeos. Ativa o sininho para receber notificação quando tiver vídeo novo, né? Esse vídeo vai ficando por aqui. Vejo vocês no próximo episódio de Genshin Impact. Que vai ser o que mesmo? Essa missão aqui que eu não sei nem o que é. Eu vou fazer no próximo vídeo. E também, claro, eu tô esquecendo. Tem isso aqui, ó. Cadê? Onde é que é mesmo? É, aqui. Ainda tem isso aqui pra fazer. Eu não fiz o do Bennett, não fiz o do Chong-un, não fiz o segundo ato da Noelle, eu tenho que fazer. E também tem o da Diona. Comecei. Já chega.
Sometimes the law is compatible with human nature, but sometimes the two conflict. Balancing the two is a discipline in its own right.
Ok. Vejo vocês no próximo vídeo. Valeu? Falou! Esse livro é grande, maluco.